Hi, I'm Alois Bunjira and you're listening to the ZiFM Sport Podcast.
Zimbabwe's finest free. ZiFM Stereo.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they come back, they've got all the excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
More than a sports show, we are prime time entertainment, bringing you music, the top sports stories, as well as a bit of fun and trivia as well to go with the usual banter, discussion and analysis from your top sports punditry team in Zimbabwe. That team, Mark Pozzo, Alois Bunjira, Barry Manandi, Mike Madoda and Sean Tafirenyika. And what a great show we've got lined up for you on Wacky Wednesday. On the home front, we'll take a look at the newly formed Super-Six Rugby League, which is set to kick off on the 16th of March. In our international sports news, we'll keep you updated on two series hanging in the balance. India's second T20 international versus Australia and the West Indies' fourth one-day international against England. Both those matches underway. And then we wrap it up in the beautiful game. The battle for the championship and a spot in the top four resumes tonight in the Premier League. And there's also the small matter of the second leg of El Clasico in Copa Del Rey action. Stay tuned. It should be a great one on Wacky Wednesday.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Just a quick reminder of our interactive platforms. First up, WhatsApp 0731-168-045. That's 0731-168-045. Use that number for your pro feeds, hashtags if you want to be in the competition. And of course, give yourself a chance of winning our fabulous monthly prize. And then secondly, you can send us your thoughts, your views, your takes on the stories that we are discussing on the show today. You can also follow and interact with @ZiFM Sport on Twitter as well as a Facebook. Kickoff is at home on the home front. The newly formed National Rugby League, which will be called the Super-Six League, is set to kick off on the 16th of March. The league will feature the country's top 6 teams that include Harare Sports Club, Old Hararians, Highlanders, Old Georgians, Matabeleland Warriors and Motare Sports Club. With this latest initiative, ZRU, that's the Zimbabwe Rugby Union, hopes that sponsors can jump in to adopt individual teams instead of having one title sponsor. The National League has suffered due to lack of sponsorship, and the expectation is that the new format may be attractive to corporates. We caught up with ZRU General Manager Sifiso Made, who explained the format of the league.
Remember, we still have our leagues running provincially, but what we decided to do this year was take the top 6 clubs and ensure that they participate at the highest level. We split it up into sections because we also have to take care of our national teams that will be taking part. So you don't want to start and stop. So what we've done is that you're going to have your first and second rounds, and then there'll be a few other competitions in between. And mind you that all the other provinces or provincial leagues still run at the same time. It's just for the top 6 that we are saying that we are giving more emphasis to in terms of play.
That was Sifiso Made, the Zimbabwe Rugby Union General Manager. Now, as we know, the Zimbabwe Rugby Union President Aaron Jani has put the re-establishment of a national league as his association's top priority this year. The Harare businessman is arguing that a strong domestic league could fast-track the Sables' quest to regain their competitive edge and re-emerge as a force on the continent. And I've got to say, Mark, that I totally agree with this initiative coming from the Zimbabwe Rugby Union.
Yeah, I totally agree with it, but what I I'm a little bit worried about is where's the money coming from? Have they got the financial stability and ability to back up this league and ensure that it is run properly?
I think what they've tried to do in the past, of course, is have the national sponsor. As mentioned previously, I think we had Delta Beverages under the Lion Lager brand trying to sponsor that. But I think what they're trying to do is trying to get the teams themselves to look for individual sponsors so that the teams are able to compete and the teams are viable. And then that will help at least set up a league where the ZRU are not encumbered by the majority of costs.
Because hasn't it been sort of a slight on the quality of rugby, Mark, where your All Georgian side can beat another side 78-0. And there's no competition. I think what this will do is create a very competitive Super-Six League that's almost the elite division. And in that elite division, then I think corporates and sponsors begin to look at that a little more seriously and can actually look at the individual teams and say, look, we want to back these because they're competing at that elite level. Yes, there is a danger of cannibalization whereby the lower end teams are going to struggle for a bit, but at least there'll be money coming into rugby, hopefully.
Yeah, but I also believe that we shouldn't just be looking at the National League. What about the Under-21 League?
Sure.
You know what? That, for me, that is where it all starts. The development of an Under-21 League, getting guys that are leaving school to come in and join these clubs, these 6 clubs. Each of these clubs should have an Under-21 side.
Yeah, I think that's where that's what they need to do, but they need somewhere to start. I think the league is a good start. It's a good start, and from there they can backtrack and say, you know what, if you are going to be joining this league, because it's just 6 throughout the country, it has to be a club that is able to be traveling and all that, and say that you need to have your under-21 team, like to force it. No one can be in the Super-Six without an under-21 team. I think that's a good start.
And now, after the National Rugby League collapsed in 2014, club rugby had been decentralized into 2 regions, namely the northern and the southern regions. But clubs who have been under severe economic pressure have been funding themselves to fulfill fixes. Though the challenge will be that, will the corporate entity in Zimbabwe, corporate Zimbabwe, will they embrace this league? Will they embrace the teams? We've seen, of course, teams like All Georgians. They've got some decent corporate support. Will it extend? Will it flow to the other teams? Do they have the level of organization that we see at All Georgians? Do they have the level of accountability as well, which is critical whenever you are handling corporate dollars? We want to hear from rugby fans and you, the listener, on 0731 168 045, Twitter and Facebook at ZiFM Sport. It's a power-packed show on a Wednesday. We got your local sports news rounding up. We'll touch on tennis, water polo, as well as the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League, and then we'll dive into the international sports news segment where we'll give you a couple of quick updates from the Australia versus India T20 International, as well as the one-day international match being played between the West Indies as well as England. Stay tuned to ZiFM Sport.
Hi, I'm Peter de Villiers, the national coach for Zimbabwe Rugby, and you are listening to ZiFM Sport.
All right, in tennis news, Zimbabwe Davis Cup tennis team captain Gwinyai Tongoona believes the return of Courtney Locke to the team for the upcoming Europe-Africa Group 2 tie against Romania in April will strengthen his side. The encounter will be played on the weekend of the 5th and the 6th of April in Romania. Tongoona retained virtually the same side that carried the country's hopes last year, keeping Takanyi Garanganga, Benjamin Locke and Mehluli Sivanda. In water polo news, Zimbabwe Water Polo Board of Control Chairman Craig Kesson believes the future of the sport is bright following the impressive performance by the junior teams at the regional tournament held in Namibia last week. Zimbabwe sent 4 sides, under 15s and under 18s boys and girls teams, to the Kana Water Polo Championships held in Windhoek. The Zimbabwe under 18 girls team won gold after defeating the South African under 16 team through a golden goal after the match had ended 7-all. Let's wrap it up with Castle Lager Premier Soccer League news, where 4 clubs are facing a PSL sanction after they failed to submit their squad lists for registration last week. The league has confirmed all top flight clubs were supposed to submit their squad lists before the 22nd of February, but Chicken Inn, Chapungu, Harare City and reigning champions FC Platinum failed to beat the deadline. The PSL has called on these clubs to fulfill the registration requirements on time, or they might get a sanction.
ZiFM Stereo will be cleaning up Enterprise Road in Harare from the Newlands Shopping Center to Food World corner Robert Mugabe and Enterprise Road this Friday, the 1st of March. Join Patience Musa on the Exhale from 9 a.m. to 12 midday as she will be broadcasting live from Food World on the day. Be part of this initiative this Friday to start the new month on a positive note, courtesy of ZiFM Stereo. Hashtag zero tolerance to litter.
In the Far East, there are many languages spoken, from the enchanting elephants in Thailand to the sizzling street food in Jakarta. The waves lapping on the shores of Bali and Phuket. Or a greeting from a new friend.
你好.
Fly Emirates to 22 destinations across the Far East and pick up some new languages on your next holiday. Visit emirates.com. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Right, we'll start with T20 cricket, where Australian skipper Aaron Finch won the toss and elected to field first in the second and final T20 international against India in Bangalore. The tourists, who won the opening match by 3 wickets on Sunday, have fielded an unchanged side in the bid to sweep the series. Let's go across and get the very latest from there. So India put into bat. They made 190 for 4, thanks largely to 47 from Rahul at the top of the order. But 72 from skipper Virat Kohli off just 38 deliveries, which included 2 4s and 6 6s, and a quick-fire 40 from Mahendra Singh Dhoni off 23 deliveries. So the target for Australia is 191. We can tell you at the moment they are 110 for the loss of 3 wickets. The men out: Darcy Short for 40 off 28, Aaron Finch, the skipper, out for 8, and the other man out, Stonius, bowled by Cole for 7. So that's after 12.3 overs. Australia 111 for 3. Still some work to do.
Yeah, still work to do, but at the crease they've got Glenn Maxwell, the big show, and I think he's pivotal to the outcome of this match. If he bats for the next 4 or 5 overs, he's just reached his half century off, I think, just about 28 balls or so, and so he's going great guns. If he stays there for another 5 overs, then Australia will really get close in this match. With him is Hanscom as well, who knows how to wield willow. So it could be interesting, this one, and it could go right down to the final over.
Yeah, look, it might do, but I think 190 is a decent score, and I think Australia are going to find it hard to beat that.
If Maxwell is there, like I said, if he bats 5 overs,
the big shot.
I think it'll be very close.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime that Glenn Maxwell is out, and if he gets into a good rhythm, I think they've got a very good chance, because I think he's going to clear the rope already. We can see him trying to pick the holes in that field, and so consequently I think that India, if there's a wicket they need to take, it's at the wicket of Glenn Maxwell. All right, let's go to the other match that we're going to update you on, where the West Indies captain Jason Holder won the toss and put England into bat in the 4th one-day international of a 5-match series at the National Stadium in Grenada. Now, following Monday's complete washout of the 3rd match at the same venue, the series remains locked at 1 apiece. Owen Morgan's England team will be setting a target for the first time in the series after they successfully chased 361 in the opening fixture and fell 26 runs short of the target in the second match, both of which were played in Barbados. So let's go across and have a look at what it's looking like. Currently, England are 251 for the loss of 3 wickets, having faced 38.1 overs of their allotted 50. The men at the crease are Owen Morgan and Jos Buttler. Owen Morgan sitting on 63 for off 68 balls, and Jos Buttler 42 off 38 deliveries. The men that have already faced and done their business and are back in the pavilion are Johnny Bairstow with a score of 56 or 43 deliveries. Hales with 82, who was caught Hetmeyer off the bowling of Nurse, 82 off 73 balls. And then Joe Root scoring a paltry 5 off 10 deliveries. injuries that he faced. England, 254 for the loss of 3 wickets. Pause. Look like they're going great guns, but I think this is below par. They'll need to sort of get their skates on, won't they?
Yeah, look, I think they're going at just over 6.5 and over, and you've still got Butler and Owen Morgan there, so anything could happen. I reckon 38.5 overs. I reckon they'll push on to a score of maybe about 325, 330, which I think they'll defend.
I
think it'll be good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too much of the West Indies batting effort is very much dependent on how Chris Gayle goes at the top of the order.
Exactly, yeah.
He almost needs to make like a century. And if he doesn't make a century, then you just get the feeling that England, being the best one-day international side in world cricket, will really show who they are. And, of course, as we speak, another boundary has just been cracked there by Glenn Maxwell. Or is that Peter Hanscom? And Australia, of course, are now 119 for 3. So they're taking a measured approach in this one. 72 to win off about 52 balls. And so you've got to say that India with the advantage, but Australia, I think they have a sniff here.
Yeah, Australia has a sniff, and it looks like these two batsmen have decided that they're the ones who are going to shift the pressure, as it were, onto India.
Hello, my name is Ibn Itzwith. I play for the Stormers and the Springboks. You're listening to ZiFM.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
Take off is in New Zealand, where record Hurricanes points scorer Borden Barrett will return to the starting 15 for Friday's Super Rugby match against the Brumbies in Palmerston North. Barrett, who has scored 1,120 points in 113 matches for the Canes, has yet to feature in 2019, but will add a wealth of experience and excitement to the squad. His return is one of 7 changes the Hurricanes head coach John Plumtree has made to the starting side from last week's match against the Crusaders. Over to Spain, where Ferrari suffered a setback for the second consecutive day of testing as a mechanical issue caused Sebastian Vettel to crash, while McLaren set the fastest time of the winter so far in day 2's morning session. Vettel had made a strong start to the session, completing 40 laps before hitting the barriers at turn 3, causing a significant delay and earning himself a trip to the medical centre, where he was given the all clear. And we touched down in the United Kingdom. WBC President Mauricio Sullivan says plans for a rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury have been shelved. The WBC ordered a rematch earlier this year after a split decision draw between the fighters in December, and even extended the negotiation period after requests from both management teams. However, Sullivan said he received confirmation from Fury that the challenger would look elsewhere for his next bout.
Well, you take a tap in these circumstances.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, your feed and farm professionals.
Right, it is competition time. Simply send us a WhatsApp message with the hashtag ProFeedsTrivia, and you might be the lucky listener we call back. You'll field 2 questions, and if you get them both correct, you'll be our daily winner and in with a chance of winning a fabulous prize, a 4-plate Capri gas stove and oven. Our second draw of the year will be on Friday, the 29th of March.
Yep.
Our quizmaster tonight is Barry Menandi.
Thank you very much for that great introduction, Mark Pozzo. And on the line, everybody, we got a lady on the line. Melody, good evening to you.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you. And how are you? Can I call you Melo?
Yeah, it's okay.
Melo, do you have any sports team that you support?
Caps United.
Caps United.
Yeah, we here.
Alois Bunjira is smiling from ear to ear.
We here.
Melo, we've got 2 questions to ask you. Are you ready to take them?
Yeah.
All right. The first question is for you to name the Zimbabwe Rugby Union president. Name the Zimbabwe Rugby Union president. Is it Aaron Jani, Sifiso Made, or Denford Mutamangira?
This one, I think.
If you were listening to the show earlier, we were talking about him. Yeah, just guess. Aaron Jani, Sifiso Made, or Denford Mtamangira? He's the CEO. Okay, let's give you another try. So now you've eliminated one. Is it Aaron Jani or Denford Mtamangira?
Melody.
You haven't been listening.
Okay, now you can try.
Okay, that's it. The Zimbabwe Rugby Union president is actually Aaron Jani. Unfortunately, you are not a winner, but keep listening to the show. Thanks for playing, Melo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Melody. And of course, just to remind you that Pro Feeds bring us the daily sports trivia every day, and they have a host of stores located nationwide in Bulawayo, Banket, Bindura, Gweru, Kadoma, Mutoko, Mutare, Wedza, Zhishavane, and a lot of other areas. And opening soon, Dombo Shava Showgrounds, as well as Muzarabani. In addition to our centers, we have stock in all Metro Peach and Brown stores, Enriches, and a host of other agents.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Profeeds. Profeeds, the performance feed.
To all you Twitter heads, connect with ZiFM Stereo on twitter.com/ZiFM Stereo /ZiFM Stereo.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
Fan Zone. Get in touch with the team and have your say your way.
Operator.
It's the Fan Zone. Boss, would you like to give us a WhatsApp number?
731-168-045.
Indeed. That's the one to use if you want to get in touch with us. And remember, it doesn't preclude you from participating in the sports trivia. All you need to do is, if you want to comment on any of the sports stories or anything happening in the world of sport and want to participate in the sports trivia, simply send your hashtag at the start of your message and then carry on with your message about what's happening in the world of sport. Guys, the messages about that opening song continue to stream in.
It went down a treat, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This one says, DJ Barry Kasson, can you... Meno. And then this one says, but is that song vulgar? No. It's
not.
It's not vulgar whatsoever. And indeed, they answered themselves because they sent us messages saying no. This one says, awesome song, 100. The song clearly went down an absolute treat here on Wacky Wednesday. Chekenyenye. That's my Ashi. My Ashi, thanks for getting in touch. My Ashi communicating with us here on ZiFM Sport. Usain Bolt is a Man United fan. There you go.
Usain Bolt.
Yes, exactly. Now I remember.
You got one. You got one.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is about Phil Collins, and it says, married 3 times only. Elizabeth Taylor married 8 times.
Elizabeth Taylor 8 times.
He needs to catch up, clearly.
I like that one.
That one's about, obviously, and then somebody reminding us that Usain Bolt is a Man United fan.
Yes.
Another message about Usain Bolt. Alois, my fellow Man United supporter, here are some of our famous fans. Let's go through
them.
Dominic Monaghan, actor from Lord of the Rings.
Who's he?
Who's that? Who's that one?
actor from Lord of the Rings. I'm not sure which one. Who is he? Give us his character. Enrique Iglesias.
Okay,
Megan
that's
Fox.
good.
Megan Fox is a good one.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, you can have him.
Oh, yeah.
Rory McIlroy. Sachin Tendulkar. Okay. Usain Bolt, of course, we heard that one. That's from Russ Blue, and he's listening in Melbourne. Australia.
Melbourne, Australia.
That's really cool.
Well,
thanks for that list.
Talking about Australia, let's just give you a quick update of that second T20 international between the Aussies and India. Remember, India 190 for 4. Looked like a winning target, that one. But the Australians are going great guns. They are currently 158 for 3 after 16.5 overs. They require another 33 runs with 19 balls remaining and 7 wickets in hand. The man at the crease doing all the damage is Glenn Maxwell. 85 off 44 balls. He smashed 6 fours and 6 sixes. Hanscom playing the support act. He's on 14 from 12. So once again, the equation, Australia need 32 from 18 balls. The show, Big Maxwell, if he's there for the next couple of overs, Australia should get over the line.
Guys, the Man United fans have come out swinging.
Oh my God. So many fans.
This was from Leeward Subanda in Ulayo and Fairview. And listen to what he says.
Mm-hmm.
He says, please read my message, guys. The most famous fan for Man United is Usain Bolt, Justin Timberlake, and there are over 400 celebrities who are Man United fans. I'm glad you kept count, Leeward. And he says, and still growing.
Of course. I mean, yeah. But I think no one beats James Bond. Anytime you got James Bond supporting you, Bond, you got to say that's it.
Look at that. Listen to that.
Mike, listen to this. We got James Bond and we got Shaft. Because we got Samuel L. Jackson.
And Brad Pitt.
There we go.
Brad Pitt as well. Clive Owen as well. Now we're talking...
We're going to be like a league of celebrity fans.
We're now talking A-listers. We're Lord of the Rings. I was like, who's that?
I think that was like a supporting
ZiFM Stereo will be cleaning up Enterprise Road in Harare from the Newlands Shopping Centre to Food World corner Robert Mugabe and Enterprise Road this Friday, the 1st of March. Join Patience Musa on the Exhale from 9 a.m. to 12 midday as she will be broadcasting live from Food World on the day. Be part of this initiative this Friday to start the new month on a positive note, courtesy of ZiFM Stereo. # Zero Tolerance to Litter.
It's the Rumble in the Jungle as the Warriors of Zimbabwe take on the Red Devils of Congo in the Africa Cup Nations Qualifier. Yes, it's going down on the 24th of March 2019 live at the National Sports Stadium. Who will survive the inferno and stand out victorious? You don't want to miss this. So get your tickets now at www.clickandpay.africa. You can also purchase using EcoCash, Telecash, MasterCard, Visa, or ZimSwitch. All tickets to be bought in advance. That means no tickets at the gate. Tickets are going for $10 rest of the ground, $50 pay 15 to 18, and $200 for VIP. Entertainment from local and international artists. Gates will close at 1:30 p.m. and the match starts at 3 p.m. You've got to be there.
Zimbabwe's finest free. ZiFM Stereo. The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. All the rivalry.
The captain likes the touch paper. It is blue touch paper. Always him on Derby Day.
All the stars.
The twinkling feet, the ice-cold finish, the Egyptian on fire.
And all the game-changing moments.
Aguero!
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
This is the league we want to watch.
Right, we get straight into the Premier League when look back at last night's results where Cardiff City went down to Everton by 3-0. Sigurdsson with 2 of those goals for Everton. Huddersfield beating Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-0 and Leicester City beating Brighton 2-1 in front of new manager Brendan Rodgers. Newcastle United beat Burnley by 2-0. Fabian Schär has urged Newcastle to maintain the momentum to ease across the finishing line in the race for Premier League survival as soon as possible. The Magpies won the league for the 4th successive home game when they beat Burnley 2-0 3 days after Huddersfield had succumbed by the same score at St James's Park. Let's hear from the Newcastle United manager, Rafael Benitez.
We have to follow them. I think that the players, they deserve all the credit today. They did really well. They were, for me, controlling the game in the first half and defending well, fighting for each other in the second half. So overall, I think it was a good performance against a good team that they were pushing all the time.
Okay, so that victory has eased the club 7 points clear of the relegation zone by the time the final whistle sounded. And while there was satisfaction on Tyneside, minds quickly turned to Saturday's trip to West Ham and the prospect of more. But I believe Mike, that Newcastle will be safe because they're in the hands of one man, and that's Rafa Benitez.
Yeah, absolutely. Rafa Benitez, for me, is a top 4 manager. It's as simple as that. He's quite capable of being a manager at Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur. He can easily fit into any of those clubs, you know, and it's just that he doesn't have the persona, he doesn't have the razzmatazz that you get from your Pep Guardiolas, your Jurgen Klopps, your Jose Mourinho. So he's not the guy you want to put on a packet of chips or in a Pepsi Cola advert. But in terms of being tactically astute, I believe Rafael Benitez is as good as any in the world.
Yeah, Rafa Benitez, I believe, is almost fighting a lone battle at Newcastle. You know, he's single-handedly keeping them in the league because, my goodness, he can set up a team to absolutely win, and we saw it last night.
Yeah, and no side has actually picked up more Premier League points at home in 2019 so far than Newcastle United's 12. They've played 5, won 4, drawn none and lost 1, with only Arsenal and Manchester City matching their tally on home soil. So that record speaks for itself.
Yeah, he is really good. Like Mike said, he is like the one of the top coaches in England, and he's like if you look at the team, he is actually the top guy. You know, he is actually the guy that everybody wants to shake hands with at Newcastle. I think he is actually, like, if he was a player, like the outstanding man here at St. James Park.
Absolutely, and you can tell it even when they are playing at home, they sing Rafa Benitez more than any other player.
More than the players.
He is their absolute MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the MVP. Sorry, I was just
Mike's watching TV.
The cricket is
if you really want to know, Mike is watching TV.
Yeah, the cricket is running.
I mean, listen,
he's in awe.
It's an exciting finish in that Australia game right now. Glenn Maxwell is on 99. It looked like he'd been caught out on the boundary, but I think it was what is it, a no ball or something like that? Or a lot is happening right now. Words being exchanged between Glenn Maxwell and the umpire, and then in comes Bumrah. He's the best bowler in the world right now, believe me, especially at the death. But he's up against Glenn, the big show, Maxwell. And Australia has just managed to sneak a single there, and they're giving themselves a chance of winning this game.
13 off 11. That's it's makeable. They need to keep those.
Just one more boundary, I think, and the job is done. And he's reached his century. So the big show, big performance from him, and Australia will be hoping that he's able to keep up the sort of performance, Mark, heading into the World Cup.
Yeah, very much so. And I mean, to maybe beat India 2-0 on their own home turf.
Yeah.
Wow, that is something.
100 or 50, hey? Must be the sandpaper on the bats.
Could be, You never know.
Okay, let's take a look at tonight's action in the Premier League. Arsenal versus Bournemouth, Southampton versus Fulham, Crystal Palace versus Manchester United, Liverpool versus Watford, City versus West Ham United, Chelsea will take on Tottenham Hotspur in the pick of the fixtures. And Mauricio Pochettino believes it could take 5 to 10 years for Spurs to win a Premier League title after the weekend loss to Burnley. Immediately after the 2-1 defeat, the Argentine conceded his side's challenge was all but over as Spurs missed the opportunity to move to within 2 points of City and Liverpool, but he has now gone on further to suggest his side lack a long-term winning mentality to succeed. Let's hear from the Spurs manager.
Play a very tough, a very good team with an amazing squad, with a lot of players capable to play. And of course, I don't think that they are going to be tired or they are going to be in different way. I think it's going to be a tough game. They are going to be good because they want. I said because it's a derby and it's in front of their fans, and for sure they are going to. It's a so important game for them too.
That was Mauricio Pochettino, and of course up against a Chelsea side that's been blowing hot and cold, impressed over the weekend in that cup final defeat to Manchester City, but ultimately undone by the story involving keeper and a coach. Now head coach Maurizio Sarri is yet to decide whether to include goalkeeper Kepa in his team's clash with Spurs, and he believes the performance at Wembley showed he has his players backing after a series of poor results, with the Kepa incident strengthening his resolve.
After yesterday, for me, the situation is finished. He is a young player. He made a mistake, but stop. If I am sure that he understood that he made a really very big mistake. For me, it's finished. Now we are improving. We are improving, especially in the defensive phase, especially in the last two matches. And so I think that if we are able to have a great solidity in the defensive phase, we will be able to find consistency.
Surrey quietly confident that Chelsea is back in the right groove, Alois, and we saw signs of it in that cup final defeat. Yes, they were defeated in a penalty shootout, but their performance, especially in the second half in extra time, was very good. They more than matched City.
Yeah, they are a good team. We've always said that Chelsea, they are actually a championship winning team. I think it was the attitude and the mentality of the players, I think, and the moral in the camp that has been bedeviling them. But I actually think that with good focus, and if they have a good spirit in their team, I think they are capable of beating anybody in the league, and it showed that they are capable. With matching Manchester City is not easy in this league. Manchester City are a class team, but they actually did that. They could have won. Penalty shootouts are like
it's a lottery.
Yeah, it's a lottery. Anyone could have won it. So we could be talking about Chelsea having beaten Man City here. So I think they're in good state. But I just wait to see what is his decision on the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think he might play him. And also, aside from this big game pause, no doubt people will be tracking the results of the Liverpool versus Watford game and City versus West Ham United.
Oh, definitely. I think tonight, if you look at the fixtures tonight, they're all very, very crucial fixtures. Even the Arsenal-Bournemouth game, because Arsenal back in the top four, they'll want to keep cementing their place.
We want them to lose.
So I think it's going to be quite an interesting night following all these games.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Barry, which side do you see as having the better of the fixtures? Is it West Ham at the Etihad or Watford at Anfield?
I think it's probably West Ham. Oh, shucks. There's no easy fixture because
this fire,
they're two very difficult venues to go to where the home teams don't lose very often. So I think these two London sides have got very difficult fixtures on their hands. But if I had to, I would choose West Ham. Probably has the easier of the two fixtures because Anfield has become an absolute fortress.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful. Where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day. Where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
All right, Real Madrid host Barcelona in the Copa Del Rey semi-final second leg tonight, having drawn 1-1 at the Nou Camp 3 weeks ago. Real caused Barcelona plenty of trouble in the first leg, with Lucas Vazquez opening the scoring before Malcolm equalized. However, their form in La Liga has dipped after a 2-1 defeat at home to Girona and a controversial late victory over Levante on Sunday. They are looking to win this competition for just the second time since 1993. And this, in truth, is Real Madrid's only realistic option in terms of silverware. Yes, we know they're still in the Champions League, and indeed the La Liga, forget that it's not going to happen. I think it's gone. Barcelona's. So this is their first realistic chance at silverware, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as a Real Madrid fan, everybody would want to say, you know what, they can win the league. At least we won the Copa del Rey. It's a share of the four. It's like a consolation in Spanish football. It might not be the Champions League, but if they win Copa del Rey, they will have a say somewhere, the bragging rights where you can say, but at least we won this one. So they really need to win this one. Champions League, it's a long shot.
Yeah,
I don't see them as one of the favorites. I don't even see them as one of the top four to win the Champions League. So it's the Copa del Rey for me.
Absolutely. And Barry, maybe we just jump in there to tell you how things are transpiring in Bengaluru. We can tell you that Glenn Maxwell has just smashed a 6 to leave his side on the cusp of victory. 1 required from 3 bowls. And of course, the Indian bowler charging in. The big show. What does he do? He smashes it for a boundary. It's a 4, and Australia win the game.
Well played,
game
Australia.
Over. 194 for 3. You've got to say it's very convincing, isn't it, Boss?
Very convincing. That is absolutely brilliant stuff. And as I said earlier, to beat India at home 2-0 in the T20 series, yeah, Well done, Australia.
Love the betting. Confident betting.
Well done, Glenn
Confident
Maxwell.
batting.
Confident betting.
Six
Just
after
hit
six.
that ball. Yeah, just hit it.
113 or 55 balls.
Yeah.
Absolutely spellbinding. We're talking Copa del Rey semi-final. It's Madrid versus Barcelona. Mikey, this one going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one because, a match between two rivals. Real Madrid, I think, is slightly the weaker side, especially with Barcelona with Dembele and Messi fit. So I expect to see the regular pattern of games. Barcelona dominating possession, Real Madrid trying to keep it very tight, and then those quick counter-attacks, those offensive transitions that they do with Modric transitioning with the ball in midfield. I expect an exciting game, but like we always say of all matches, the first goal in this one is going to be critical. It's going to be critical.
Yeah, that old cliche about football. Well, Australia winning. Let's go to Italy now.
Paolo Rossi, Marco van Basten, George Weah, Gabriel Batistuta, Alessandro Del Piero. Serie A has been home to some of the world's finest strikers. And now they welcome arguably the greatest of them all, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best of Italian football on Z.
Right to Italy, where Lazio failed to capitalise on having home advantage in the first leg of their Coppa Italia semi-final as they were held to a 0-0 draw by AC Milan last night. The battle between the last two beaten finalists never sparked into life at the Stadio Olimpico, though the outcome was hardly surprising considering they had failed to muster a goal between them in both meetings at the same stage of the competition last season. So tonight's Coppa Italia first leg will be Fiorentina up against Atalanta.
Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
A final update from Germany as we wrap up the show. Bayern Munich club president Uli Hoeneß has revealed that the decision regarding on-loan Real Madrid attacker James Rodriguez's future at the club rests with head coach Niko Kovac. James joined Bayern on a 2-year loan in July 2017 and has since registered 10 goals and 14 assists in the Bundesliga. With his initial loan period now drawing to a close at the end of the season, Hoeneß shed light on the situation during an interview with Sport 1, where he once again reiterated that the decision will lie with the coach Niko Kovac. And James hasn't really lit it up in Germany. You know, he's a player who we saw at his best at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil for Colombia. Yeah. And then at Real Madrid, he was never able to lock down a position. You know, he would perform one week,
never
another.
Consistent.
Yeah, never consistent. And that trend followed him to Germany.
Yeah, that's why he was loaned to Germany, and even in Germany, he didn't light the stage up. And I'm not sure if they might want as a squad player. As a squad player, I think is valuable. I'm not sure. Is he still on loan after this expired, or his contract with Real Madrid is expiring? Then
I think he belongs to Real Madrid.
Yeah. So the decision does not really lie with the Bayern coach. It lies.
I think Real Madrid have said they don't want him.
Yeah.
I think they're saying.
Oh my God!
in truth.
So he's at a serious disadvantage.
He's one of the luckiest players in world football, because in after that World Cup you mentioned, he did nothing to justify the fact that he was going to these A-list clubs. In truth, he has done nothing.
But I think even at that World Cup, it was that goal. But he was playing just like anybody else. That goal, it just very highlighted his career. He was very lucky.
Very lucky player. Well, for us to be lucky, we'll get another hour. But we're not going to get that because the news has got to come up, so we've got to go. May God richly bless you. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Manande, out.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.